Give us an idea of how the role of digital, and what does it play in the innovation at Pfizer?
I joined the company in 2019. Albert Bourla, another Albert, our CEO, invited me to join Pfizer in January of 2019 as the company's first ever Chief Digital and Technology Officer. My remit from Albert is to harness digital to innovate across every aspect of our business, from how we discover and develop medicines to manufacturing, commercialization, and also how we engage with patients and customers. Upon joining, one of the first things I did was to rebalance our portfolio to focus on the highest priority initiatives with the greatest impact. And we also introduced a new digital operating model that fosters more horizontal thinking, innovation, and customer focus. We also deployed Agile across Pfizer to help us innovate faster and smarter. And just to give you a sense, today, over 90% of our most critical enterprise programs are leveraging Agile, and they're yielding tangible outcomes. These new ways of working laid the groundwork for innovation across the entire company. Let me give you some examples indeed to bring it to life. In research and discovery, we introduce screening capabilities that allow our scientists to synthesize and test a manageable fraction of millions of compounds that might work as a new drug to only those with the highest chance of becoming medicines. These enabled us to screen one of our key libraries, for example, containing 4.5 billion compounds, something that we were not able to do before, but are able to do with digital capabilities, and we can do it in under 48 hours. So that's, the kind of innovation that we bring to bear. In clinical development, digital brings the trial to the participant through remote trials, helping boost recruitment, retention, and diversity while elevating the participant experience. 54% of our site visits are now remote, compared to less than 10% at the end of 2018. So we've really decentralized those trials and also made them more virtual. We also made it easier for participants with wearables for remote tracking and telehealth to enable virtual visits. And AI and machine learning are enabling our teams to perform quality checks and analyze vast amounts of clinical trial data 50% faster than prior methods. And this is an AI-based capability. We launched that for our COVID trial, and today I'm happy to report that we're using that capability in 50% of all of our clinical trials, helping us to bring medicines to patients faster. On the manufacturing front, digital capabilities and standard platforms drive scale and tangible results. For example, we have a patent-pending digital operations center capability that provides an end-to-end view of manufacturing and supply, which allows the team to predict issues and adjust in real time. This has yielded a 20% increase in throughput. And as you know, we're a pretty large company, so 20% is pretty significant. We also have a batch tracker solution that's in our manufacturing that proactively identifies any bottlenecks or areas of high risk that has led to an 85% improvement in on-time release of products. Over on the commercial front, we're transforming our go-to-market model with digital at the core to enhance customer engagement, creating a more personalized experience. Our new Pfizer Pro platform is a one-stop shop that allows healthcare providers to connect when they want. We are equally bringing benefit to patients. So for example, AMBA is a new app for metastatic breast cancer patients designed to optimize their treatment experiences and outcomes with tips, personalized education, medication reminders, and more. And we partnered with Walgreens to scale this product. And we're also collaborating with Fitbit to proactively identify patients who may have atrial fibrillation. Consumers are monitored for irregular heart rhythm, and those who receive a signal are guided to contact their HCP for a consultation. We launched this capability in April 2022, and we already have over 2 million people enrolled. For Pfizer colleagues, because we don't just focus on our external audiences, we are making our work faster and easier through automation and robotics. We set out to automate 75% of 100 million manual transactions across the company by the end of 2021. And I'm pleased to report that we surpassed this goal. We actually reached 90% automation of those manual processes. So as you can see, we are enhancing every aspect of our business. And in fact, I often like to say that rather than creating a digital strategy for our business, we're actually creating a business strategy for a digital world. And that's the foundation on which we're making digital innovation a competitive advantage at Pfizer.
Why do you think you and your team were so uniquely positioned to do this? And of course, it played a big part, this move fast and develop, innovate, implement. I mean, it certainly played a huge part in your ability to change during the pandemic.
Let me start with a little bit of the history, going back to 2019. And context. In 2019, January 2019, Albert Bourla became CEO of Pfizer. So we began our transition to being a more science-driven and patient-focused company. At the same time, we also embarked on a digital transformation journey. We modernized our IT foundation, we upgrading our network, increasing our data storage capacity fourfold, and started a rapid transition to the cloud. So when I joined in 2019, we were at about 25% in the cloud. Today, we're at 80% in the cloud. That helps, right? And we introduced agile ways of working across the company to help us work faster and smarter. Thus, in early 2020, when COVID-19 struck, we were well positioned to respond quickly and drive innovation to bring the vaccine and later Paxlovid oral treatment to the world in record time. We codenamed our COVID efforts Lightspeed, and they're founded on the agile principles that we had introduced. These Lightspeed principles included maintaining a hyper focus on the customer, whether that's the patient, their healthcare provider, health systems, regulators, or even our own colleagues. It's also important not to remember the colleagues are an important audience as well. Driving horizontal thinking, aligning ourselves to what the patient is experiencing, focusing on a few critical common goals with minimal bureaucracy, fostering a strong emphasis on outcomes as opposed to activity. And very importantly, empowering our teams to work in parallel rather than sequentially to drive speed, and to have the courage to think big, be creative, and work differently. This was particularly critical as we needed thousands of people to believe we could do the impossible. And I'm proud to say that we did. Lightspeed allowed us to focus and supercharge digital innovation to develop a safe and effective vaccine in record time without cutting any safety or regulatory corners. So let me share a couple of examples specific to COVID, right? Our COVID response. In scientific discovery, we use supercomputing. We run very complex calculations at a factor of 5 to 10x acceleration, which help fast-track Paxlovid. We deployed advanced analytics to optimize the search for the right molecules that could deliver Paxlovid in pill form versus intravenously. This was a huge win because it allowed us to produce Paxlovid, which could be taken by patients at home rather than having to administer in a hospital setting. For our clinical trials, we use real-time predictive models to project COVID prevalence at an individual county level, identifying where the next big wave of infection would hit based on the dynamic movement of the virus. This helped our team optimize clinical trial site selection based on where we anticipated recruitment being strongest. We were also able to refresh the clinical trial data every 4 hours. This meant that we could get the latest data to our scientists with greater speed and frequency than before COVID, when it would take a few weeks after each participant visit to aggregate the data. Moving from weeks to hours is a major paradigm shift, as you can imagine, Albert, and accelerated the vaccine trial because we needed, to gather that data and be able to submit to the FDA. In manufacturing, our intelligence platform leveraged data and analytics to reduce the cycle time by 67% for a critical step of the Paxlovid process. So to put it in perspective, prior to COVID, Pfizer produced 220 million vaccine doses for our entire portfolio of vaccines. In 2021, we produced 3 billion doses of Comirnaty. So think about the scale up from 220 million to 3 billion plus.
This episode of IT Visionaries is brought to you by Salesforce. With Salesforce's low-code app dev tools, you can be more efficient, more productive, and save money by reducing development time by up to 90%. Get Salesforce's low-code playbook and increase time to value for your team and your customers. Visit salesforce.com/ITV today.